Welcome to ancient Rome, a civilization that built empires, shaped the course of history, and left behind some of the most fascinating ruins we visit today. But what was life like for the people who lived in this powerful empire? Let's take a journey through time to uncover the secrets of their homes, beliefs, food, and the mysterious lives of gladiators. Ancient Rome wasn't just the capital of an empire, it was a bustling metropolis stretching across 3 continents, influencing everything from law to architecture. If we look at the map of ancient Rome today, many of the areas once ruled by Romans now house modern cities like Rome itself, of course, but also parts of Europe, North Africa, and even the Middle East. One of the most iconic symbols of ancient Rome is the Colosseum, the grand amphitheater where gladiators fought. But what's the real story behind these warriors? Gladiators were often slaves or prisoners of war, forced into brutal combat. While some became famous and were treated like celebrities, many died in horrific battles. But did you know not all gladiator fights were to the death? Some were fought to showcase skill and gain fame. And here's a shocking fact: gladiators were actually well-fed. They consumed a high-carb diet with barley, beans, and dried fruit to keep up their energy and strength. They even drank a beverage made of plant ash, believed to help them recover from wounds. Now let's take a peek inside a Roman home. Wealthy Romans lived in domus large, elegant houses that were designed for comfort and socializing. The centerpiece was often an open-air courtyard called a peristylium, surrounded by rooms that were decorated with intricate frescoes. The floor was often adorned with beautiful mosaics, and the walls were covered in scenes from mythology, or even portraits of family members. For the middle class, they lived in insulae, or apartment buildings. These were much smaller, often cramped, and lacked running water. Life was definitely tougher here. Rome's wealthier citizens had indoor plumbing, while the poor had to use public latrines. What did Romans eat? Well, it wasn't all about feasts with exotic meats and fruits. The rich dined on dormice, peacock, and roast pork. Meanwhile, the average Roman's diet consisted of bread, olives, cheese, and wine. They also enjoyed a porridge made from grains called pulse, which was a common meal among the lower classes. But don't get too excited. They didn't have pizza or pasta, even though those Italian classics originated here centuries later. The Romans ate with their hands, but don't mistake them for uncivilized. They had incredibly advanced cooking techniques and many tools that modern chefs still use today. Romans were deeply religious, worshipping a vast array of gods and goddesses. The most important were the Capitoline triad: Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. They believed the gods controlled every aspect of their lives, from war and love to harvests and even plumbing. Yes, Romans had a god for their sewers too: Colosseum, the goddess of the Cloaca Maxima, their massive drainage system. But it wasn't just the famous gods. They also believed in household spirits like Lares and Penates, who protected the family's home and belongings. Some Romans even kept small shrines to honor them. Today, some of the most famous Roman ruins are now popular tourist destinations, but many of these landmarks were once bustling hubs of Roman life. Take the Pantheon, for example. Originally a temple to all gods, its massive, unreinforced dome still stands as one of the greatest engineering feats in history. Did you know it's the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world, and it has inspired modern architecture for centuries? The Roman Forum, once the heart of political and social life, is now a set of breathtaking ruins. But centuries ago, this was the place where Julius Caesar delivered speeches, and where the Senate gathered to make decisions that shaped the world. So where is all this history today? If you visit the center of Rome, you'll walk through what was once the Forum Romanum, now scattered with ruins. The Circus Maximus, the ancient chariot racetrack, is now a public park. It once seated over 150,000 spectators, but today it's hard to imagine the roar of the crowds as modern Rome bustles around it. And outside of Rome, you'll find Roman cities like Pompeii, preserved for thousands of years under volcanic ash. Imagine a city frozen in time, showing the daily lives of Romans before the catastrophic eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Ancient Rome was a place of grandeur, mystery, and contradictions. The ancient Romans gave us so much, from law to architecture, from the creation of cities to the gladiators who fought for glory. And while their empire has long since fallen, their legacy lives on in the ruins, in our modern cities, and in the countless stories they left behind. So, next time you walk through the streets of modern Rome, remember, you're walking in the footsteps of an empire that changed the world. What other secrets of ancient Rome will you uncover? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more historical mysteries.